So we've talked about how things are unfair in other countries, and let's talk about how to make things fair, and how we'll also talk about how things are unfair in the United States. Now, in the United States, we don't have bride burning and honor killings, and one of the reasons we don't is because we have feminism, the philosophy that women should have equal status. And feminism has come in several waves. And we're going to look at those different waves of feminism influencing the United States. Let's look at these two women and let's write down her name is Harriet Martineau. Now, Martineau, what you need to know about her is that she was from England, she was British, and she traveled America, and she wrote a book called Society in America. And what you saw in the United States, she was not a fan of because she was a feminist, but she was also an abolitionist, which means she was against slavery. She saw slavery and was against that. So we're talking about some of the founding fathers of sociology, some of them are women. Harriet Martineau is one of them. So here's what you need to know about her. Feminist abolitionist wrote Society in America. Now, the other woman is called Jane Addams. And Jane Addams formed the Hull House for the community, and it helped people, get jobs, get back on their feet if they were homeless, and kind of help the poor. She did research to help the poor. And the Hull House is in Chicago. She's the only sociologist to win the Nobel Peace Prize. So these are the two most influential women in sociology, and make sure you write down their names and you know the differences between Harriet Martineau and Jane Addams. There are three waves of feminism. The very first wave, you've heard of it, it's called voting rights. They were suffragists, getting women the right to vote. Now, once they did get the women the right to vote, then the waves of it kind of calmed down because that was their big goal and they accomplished it. The second wave, more rights in the workforce. Now, women could always get jobs in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, but it was very rare and it wasn't super common. But women the second wave started focusing on getting more women rights inside of the workforce. And the third wave of feminism, helping women in the least industrialized countries. Helping women in countries where they do have bride burning and where they do have the abortion based on the sex of the child. So, here are the three waves of feminism in getting women equal standing to men. The gender pay gap. Why do men make more money? Now, one of the reasons is because women have traditionally chosen jobs that have been done by women, not men. For example, nursing. What would be another job that traditionally has been done by women? Teaching, librarian. This is called gender tracking, choosing an occupation that for the most part has been gender driven. So one of the reasons that women make less than men, they earn less than men, is because they choose jobs that for the most part have been done by women. What would be another reason? Another reason would be the child penalty, missing work for child care. They're not going to get a promotion if they have a newborn or if they have a large family because they kind of have a stigma where, they're going to miss work and they're not going to participate and they're not going to be focused on the job. Discrimination. Men are just assumed to be better. Well, men are going to do this better than a woman. And letter D, the glass ceiling, the invisible barrier that keeps women from advancing. If there is a boardroom and there are 7 men in the boardroom and they need to promote somebody or they need to choose another person, if there's already 7 men in there, they're probably going to want another guy. And that's the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling, preventing women from advancing. Now, there's a movie called Meet the Fockers. His name was Gaylord Fokker, Meet the Parents. And Gaylord was a nurse. So what happens when men choose jobs that are primarily done by women? Do they experience the glass ceiling? In actuality, they don't. They experience what is called the glass escalator. If there is a man and he's a nurse, well, then he's going to get a promotion. If there is a man and he's a librarian, well, then he's going to get a promotion. So whenever a man goes into a field dominated by women, there is a high chance that he's going to get a promotion. And those are some of the reasons why men make more money than women. Now, make sure you're familiar with all of these terms. Make sure you're familiar with all of these definitions. You're going to need to know them for the test on gender.